Hey guys, welcome to Ironman 4x4. Thanks for clicking in. Today I'm going to show you guys how to get our Ironman 4x4 heavy duty skid plates or underbody protection bolted up on your 3rd gen Tundra. And now these skid plates are for a non-hybrid Tundra. This install video is going to work for your steel and your alloy UBP skid plates for your truck. Now this is a super easy install. It's literally bolt off the old OEM little splash guard plates they have. These are felt. They're either felt or plastic, and then bolting on the Ironman stuff. Now you can do it on your garage floor if you want to lay on a creeper and do it. I've done it that way, but for purposes of the video to show you guys and for the film crew, we're going to do it up in the air on this lift. Now the first little obstacle you're going to run into is most of these new Tundras, they have a front active aero, like air dam splitter that folds down at highway speeds. It's supposed to help you with fuel economy and all that stuff. We have to get this down so that we can get to this splash guard. 2 ways of doing that. You can either jump in your truck, you turn your truck off, 45 seconds within turning it off, you press up on your windshield wiper stock, like to the mist position, you hold for between like 2 or 10 seconds, and this should flip down. Now, if you didn't do that ahead of time and you've already got your truck in the air, that's okay. The easier, faster way, I think, is just grab a 10 mil socket and you just unbuzz these 2 10 mil bolts right here. It'll let the whole thing swing down. Now we just got to get this OEM little felt splash guard plate off. It's going to be these 412 bolts. But before I get any further, I want to make sure I don't forget to tell you that if you're running an aftermarket diff drop kit or an aftermarket suspension where you've got like your cross members lowered or trussed out, our underbody protection is designed to work with stock trucks that haven't, had the diff messed with. So just a heads up. All right, let's get these 412s out. All right, find your transfer case, go forward a little bit. This is your cross member right here. On the left driver's side of it, this small hole, put that little silver mark there for you. We need to open that hole out to accommodate for this M10 bolt. So grab your favorite drill bit or step bit, and I just like to drill until this bolt fits. Try not to go any larger than that. All right, that's thin steel. We don't want it to rust on us, so grab a paint pen or some paint, fingernail polish, wipe it around like that. It doesn't matter what color it is because you're not gonna see it. There's gonna be a bolt in the way, but that'll keep it from rusting. All right, so we're gonna grab 5 of these nut plates and 5 of these M10 bolts. And we're gonna start in the middle. We wanna fish this bolt plate up behind this center hole here. And there's a hole right up here, top of my finger. And so feed the wire up and out because we still need a way to control this plate once it's up in the cross member. Kind of wants to bind up on you a little bit, but once you get it in like that, we can flip it, feed it back over. Okay, now that we've got that, let's grab our rear plate, the big plate. This is the front. So you can see here, you've got your tag, it says rear plate. You've got this 45 flange, that's gonna point towards the front of the truck. I've got my M10 bolt. I'm gonna slide up here. Now you can either use, a pull jack to hold it in place or a friend, whatever you need to do. All right, I hooked a thread. Once you get it started, you can also just grab a socket and we can just do it by hand. I don't want it too tight. Remember, this has all gotta stay loose for later, but we can let that hang and then move on to the outer 2 positions. So. All right, I'm gonna feed this nut plate up here, and then after you get it to your position, just kind of pull down and bend your wire back here. That'll let the plate lay flat, and then you can kind of control it a little bit better. So reach up with that M10, grab a 17 socket. You just don't want it going anywhere. All right, before we do our left location here, grab this plate right here. It's your tail plate. This is what covers up over your transfer case. Now, there's a couple things we gotta do. One is we have to feed this plate up and behind our rear plate, and these 2 threaded, welded certs here are gonna land right here, and we'll put 2 little M8s in there, bolt them together. Then we can bolt this location down, that location down, But if you have side steps or rock sliders or running boards or something that bolts to your frame rail, like we have premium side steps on this Tundra that are already installed, and we already use this location for them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen this 17 mil bolt, we're gonna drop it down, and we are going to slot this location right here so that if we need to do maintenance on these plates or on the steps, we can just slide this in and tighten it back down. Super easy to do. So for our purposes, we had to put a gap here for this so that we can make it work with our Ironman premium steps. But if you don't have that, no modification needed on your part. So we're gonna take this plate, we're gonna feed it up here, kind of rock this back a little bit. All right, I'm getting this plate kind of worked in and lined up. You can see these M8 certs there are lined up, but to make everything fit the way we want it to, we need to attack this back here. So we've already got our bolt in place and hanging for our side steps. There we go. I'll grab these 2 M8s and get those started by hand. And then I already kind of had this pre-cooked, but I'm gonna feed this nut plate through. Oh, dude, awesome. My lucky day. Okay, this makes 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not gonna need our 5th because we've already got that there. You will need your 5th to go here. This, I'm actually gonna start on this outside here. All right, for this location here, for that hole that we widened out for our M10, this nut plate here, we need to grind down this one side so that it can slide up against the wall of the cross member in there. So not a huge deal. We'll zip that thing down. We'll be ready to go. You want to grind this down till you hit the edge of the nut right there. It's about a 1/4 inch. Got that ground down. It's gonna look just like that for you. Now we'll feed it right there. That looks like that's it right there. Cool. All right, the back of the back plate is sort of on. Now that we've got this rear plate kind of, hand tight, locked down, you don't want it hanging down here, you want it up as much as you can. Grab this mid plate and 2 of these M10s. They're the last 2, big M10s that you have. We're gonna tie this location here right into these threaded certs there. So to do that, you want to hold it up here, and I'm just going to kind of rest it on my head, I think, and then feed this through. So we'll get this tightened up the best we can. We'll switch to the other side here. So now grab 2 of these M8 by 40 mil long bolts with split washer, flat washer, and you've got one right in here and right in this pocket here. So it's a good thing we left everything loose because we can kind of adjust it. I'm just trying to catch a few threads right here. If you have a 13 mil socket, that can help too. Grab your front plate. It's way easier to grab these M8 by 35s. Feed your plate up, and if you've got one of these front air dam motors, tuck it up behind that. Take this M8, land it right there on that threaded cert in the cross member. We'll catch a couple threads there. Now we don't have to hold it the whole time. Same thing on this side. Awesome. Now we can relax a little bit. Then we can grab those M8 by 40s that we were using back here. And you can press the front plate over the middle plate, feed that M840 in there, grab a couple threads. All right, all the plates are in, everything's finger tight but not locked down. There is a bit of a tightening sequence here. I wanted to run through it with you. Grab a 17 millimeter socket or a wrench. I like to start here because this isn't really adjustable, so we want to lock that down. That's not going to move, and that'll kind of determine where all of our other plates are going to wind up because those are slotted. So we'll go ahead and tighten this one. All right, that's tight. Now let's go over here to these M8s. There we go. Those are tight. We'll switch back to the 17. And now we can do this one here. We're gonna walk forward here. We're gonna tighten these. Remember how these are on a 45? They'll suck together, so we wanna get those locked down. Those are tight. Come back here. We'll go center. Now the rest of them are all 13 mil. So I continually kind of just check, look at where we're at here on our slots. This is all looking nice and clean. I'm gonna kind of pull it towards the back of the truck. Last thing to do, we need to bolt in our little oil access door right here. So if you're doing an oil change, you can pop these little countersunk pan heads and get up here to your oil pan bolt. All right, we're gonna grab this little access door for our oil pan and these little M6 bolts right there. They're a number 4 Allen hex head. All right. And then nice and easy. Remember, we're gonna be taking that on and off a bunch, so you don't wanna strip them out. Just needs to be in there snug, and it's countersunk too, so nothing's gonna hook up on that. Awesome, that looks really good. There's only 2 bolts left we have to do, and those were our OEM bolts to put our front air dam louver back up. So I'll grab those. All right, I grabbed our OEM bolts on a 10 mil. And we'll feed these back up. And before let's go back and clip all of our wires off for our nut plates. I like to just cut them and then tuck the wire up inside the cross member in case I ever have to uninstall it and get to it again. At least it's there. All right, we are all done. Ironman 4x4 Underbody Protection for the 3rd Gen Tundra, non-hybrid. We also have them for the hybrid trucks, so go check those out too. If you want to get a set of those or these, go to Ironman4x4America.com. We'll hook you up over there.